Hello everyone, this is Ruchi Sharma and you are viewing the lecture of Antenna and Propagation, subject code 6EC404. This is Ruchi Sharma, Assistant Professor from EC Department, Arya College of Engineering and IT, Jaipur. So students, this is our lecture number 7. In this chapter we are continuing with our unit number 3rd related to antenna, aperture antennas and reflector antennas. Today we are going to learn about topic number 3.1.1, which is related with the field equivalence principle. Students, in previous lecture we have understood what exactly the field equivalence principle is, and now in this lecture we are going to learn about what are the radiation equations. What are the radiation equations related to the field equivalence principle when we calculate it for rectangular as well as circular aperture. It will now in this radiation equations, one thing you have to keep in mind that for deriving this thing we are taking into consideration the far field observations from the aperture antenna. Like the aperture antenna can be kept at any plane of the three axes like x, y, y, z and so on, any plane, and then we have to observe the radiation, observe the point of radiation at the far field, okay, at the zone of far field approximation. Therefore the formulas and every derivations that which component is going to exist or which is going to be zero is we will be taking that for far field approximations. Okay, now earlier it was stated that the fields radiated by sources Js and Ms in an unbounded medium means the far field, can be computed by using these A1 and A6 are these this equation. Like and when you're going to look for this in your books, you're going to find this 3.1 3.4 section, that electric and magnetic fields for electric J and magnetic M current sources. A and F are the auxiliary potential functions, as we have already studied earlier. These are the formulas for auxiliary potential functions for the current sources J and M, right? So that is what we are taking in consideration over here. Like these A1 and A6 are these two equations. Like what it is saying, that it was stated that the fields radiated by sources Js and Ms in an unbounded medium can be computed by using these two equations for A and F, where the integration must be performed over the entire surface occupied by the sources Js and Ms. This is the basic thing which you need to keep in your mind while deriving this derivation. Now, as we already know, for far field observation, R can most commonly be approximated by this calculations, where R is nearly equal to capital R is nearly equals to R minus R dash cos psi for phase variations, and capital R is nearly equal to small r for amplitude variations. And if you are thinking this thing is new, then I will make you familiar with this. We were studying this section, we were taking into notice for this section, these are the geometry coordinates for far field approximations, okay, for which we are considering. Now this is the, now we talk about this, then we are continuing this geometry only. Now here it is clearly written that this is the far field approximation for R, okay, which satisfy the equation for far field zone. Now students, here x dash y dash z dash or r dash theta dash phi dash are what are the space occupied by the sources Js and Ms over which integration must be performed, which are also called as prime coordinates, and the unprimed coordinates x y z or r theta phi are the observation points, okay, and capital R is parallel to small r. Now here A and F, you don't get confused about looking A and what is this N, F and all. I'll explain it one by one. A and F are the two auxiliary potential functions, and based on A and F we have derived this N and L. If if you pay attention, you will get clearly from where these N and L has come from. The same formula, like N has come from the A and L has come from the F. Now for the far field, for the far field approximation, only the theta and phi components are going to be dominant for the E and H fields, right? Therefore this is the approximation we have already proved for the far field approximation in the auxiliary potential functions wala chapter. That is why we have taken here, we have written here that thing. Now combining 8a to 8d, 8a to 8d with 9a to 9d and making use of 6 to 7a. Where is the 6 to 7a? This one. So making use of these auxiliary potential functions equation, the total E and H fields can be written as this. Okay, but this is the radiation field equations for the far field approximations for field equivalence principle. Now the n theta, n phi, L theta, L phi can be obtained from 6a and 7a. 6a and 7a. Okay. Now we can write it as using the, now what we have to do for this N and L, using the rectangular to spherical component transformation. Why we need so? Because we are considering the radiation pattern as a sphere. That's why we have taken the beam solid angle on the ds area, and for that earlier the aperture was rectangular, therefore we were considering the rectangular component of geometry, and now for calculating the radiation we need to transform that rectangular coordinates to spherical coordinates. After the transformation of these rectangular to spherical component transformation, 11a and 11b reduces for the theta and phi components to the following equations written from 12a to 12d. Now students, we are going to introduce two types of aperture antennas which are very common in aperture antennas. First one is your rectangular apertures. Students, this is the most common microwave antenna you will ever go through, which will ever come across you. Now for this rectangular aperture antennas, we are going to always take into consideration the rectangular coordinate systems, which is defined as the best system to express the fields at the aperture and to perform the integration due to its rectangular configuration. Now here below, this is the three most common and convenient coordinate positions used for the solution of an aperture antenna. Here if you pay attention in figure number 1, figure A, the aperture lies on the YZ plane. In figure B, the aperture lies on the XZ plane, and in figure C, the aperture lies in the XY plane. Now for a given field distribution, these are the given field distributions. Now the analytical forms of the fields for each of the arrangements are not the same. However, the computed values are going to be same, since the physical problem is the same in three cases. What I am going to tell you is there is a bit difference when we change the position of the aperture antenna. That is, the analytical form means the directive and analytical forms of the fields for each of the arrangements are not going to be same, but the computed values will be same, since the physical aperture is same in all the three cases. Right? I hope you're clear now. For each of the geometries in A, B and C, the only difference in the analysis is in the formulation of number 1, the only difference which we are going to deal with all of the three cases is number 1, which is the components of the equivalent current densities Jx, Jy, Gz, Mx, My and Mz. We are going to declare them individually. The difference in paths from the sources to the observation points, obviously it is going to be different, right? Which is r dash cos psi. Now the differential areas ds dash for each of the radiation for each of the beam solid angle from where we are going to at the observation point where we take ds for the field approximation, we are talking about that area for the beam cone, solid angle. Now in general, the non-zero components of JS and MS are JY, JZ, MY, MZ for figure A, JX, JZ, MX, MZ for figure B. Look, JX, JY, MX, MY for figure C. Now the differential paths take the form, the differential paths were r dash cos psi will take the form as stated in equations 12, 15, a, b, c will be going to be this according to the plane in which they are kept, and the differential areas are represented by the equations 12, 16 to 16a to c. Now this is all for this lecture. Thank you. In the next lecture, we are going to learn something more, the further cases of this rectangular aperture in the next lecture. Thank you.